Jim,
Hey, great to meet you.
pleasure to meet you. And to thank you for your coverage. You know, it's so important that we have alternative media sources because I'm labelled, I'm smeared, I'm lied about to the world by the mainstream.
You are.
And if we didn't have sources like yourself, then there wouldn't be a balanced review. So
Yeah.
I'm grateful.
Well, thank you for everything you do, really.
We have a lot in common.
I think we probably do, yeah.
We're banned from Twitter.
Yes.
We're banned from PayPal.
Yeah.
We're both labelled far right. I went through reading all the media's things about you, and it was like reading about myself.
Yeah, truly. Yeah.
So, the United States, if we start, because I've seen you when I was reading all the media appraisals of you by certain groups, even in the UK, you wouldn't have heard of them. You seem to be under attack. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, it's constantly, yeah. Well, you know, like you, we've been pretty successful. We've broken a lot of stories. We've changed the narrative, you know. Like we did this week, we had a big story where the media, and I don't know how much they're covering this in Britain, but in the US are covering the January 6th show trials and these hearings that are going on. And they're saying that Trump was behind a conspiracy to invade the Capitol, an insurrection. And so we actually released documents this week we from a whistleblower that he works with the Proud Boys. He was operative for the FBI. He turned in his documents. We have his emails. We have his text messages. We have his transcripts from his when he spoke with the FBI. All of this we released this week. And what he says is that there was no plan for an insurrection. There was no plan to break into the U.S. Capitol. There was no plan of violence. None of this. It was all spontaneous. These Proud Boys, they went in the Capitol. They didn't lead the charge in. They went in 30 minutes after people had gone in. A lot of them were invited in, as you know. And then they shook the hands of the police and they picked up their trash and left. So this is from the official FBI report, okay? And it didn't make any headlines. It still hasn't this week. But that's a reason why they hate Gateway Pundit. Because we will release these factual reports, and they may smear us, you'll notice, I'm sure. You know, fake news, all this. Give it a couple months, and they'll catch up to us, right? Yeah. Or like the Mueller probe, when they were going after Donald Trump for some ridiculous things about Trump with Putin, right? And hookers and, they're peeing in beds and stuff, right? We knew that was nonsense the first time we read it. But they caught up to us, several years out.
I don't think they care though, because the damage is done with their headlines.
Absolutely.
Already. Once they bang the headline out around the globe, they know most people are just reading the headlines anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I was telling our friend Peter just yesterday that when I started writing back in 2004, a little blog, had a couple 20 readers, and the media was biased then. But today, when you look at the media, it's they're just out of control. Everything is a lie. Everything they say, it's not even just slanted. It's just open lies, right? That they're telling the American public. I do think the good news is, and I truly believe this, in America, I think people are finally catching on. I think what has helped is our economy is tanking right now. So of course people are under a lot of stress and pressure in their lives, and then they hear this other stuff, then they see the truth. But I think the media is really losing their grasp that they've had, although, of course, they still can ruin you. Yeah. In an afternoon, they could ruin your name. But anyway, we continue to grow. We're very popular in the U.S. We have 2.5 million readers a day. Wow. And so we've grown from just...
from 20 people in 2004.
Right.
Winning.
Yeah. And a lot of it is because, of course, we're going to tell the other side of the story, and we're going to tell the Tommy Robinson story. We've reported on you over the years. I don't know how many times.
I'm grateful.
You tend to make a few headlines.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, so that's why they hate us and try to stop us. And like you also, we're knocked off of several platforms, but we continue to grow every year, so that's really promising.
It's good. When you're talking about the insurrection, what do you think the FBI's involvement in it was?
Well, to look at January 6th, you have to look back at in October, the FBI, we were told, the headlines were at the time in Michigan, the state of Michigan, that a group of white supremacists were going to kidnap the governor there, far left governor, rotten person, right? and they were going to kidnap her and tie her up and bring her to an island and shoot her. Right? It's just unbelievable accusations. Well, after several months, we find out that 12 of the 15 or 18 people involved were FBI agents. So it was FBI agents who came up with this plot, who hashed the plot, who paid for the plot, who recruited the people, who brought up the plot in this group, promoted the plot, and then they got these 6 other guys, and they caught them, entrapped them, and but it was all an FBI plot. Everything about it goes back to the FBI. This came out in the court, and all of these guys, the last case they had, 4 of these men were released and found not guilty because these people fought back and fought against the FBI. But this is what happened. The man who was in charge of this operation in Michigan, they moved him then to D.C. in October after they made all these arrests. So then he's in D.C., and then we see what happens on January 6th at the U.S. Capitol. And so I believe we're going to find out more. Certainly not through this January 6th committee. They're not interested in anything about the truth. It's disgusting. It really is. And again, they're just pushing lies out day after day. But I think we will find out the truth. We're finding out more, just like we released a report this week that said, yes, here's another operative who was working with the FBI, who was inside the Proud Boys group. And so I think we're going to find out a lot more of that. And we already have several that we believe we've identified. So,
and some of the people being identified haven't been arrested. I've watched looked at loads of them.
No.
Who are committing crimes. Because I just looked at a 69-year-old woman, grandmother, who's got cancer, who's being sent to jail.
Yeah,
for walking into the building.
Tragic. I mean, it breaks your heart. It really does. This is America, right?
I hope, I watch it thinking, what is going on? And the fact that you have got political prisoners. Many of those Proud Boys activists who have been locked up. And now we see it happening in Canada as well, with the organisers of the convoy. It's good to know. I think that they expose themselves, and the media, the more this goes on, the more they act like this, the more they're exposed. I think in the UK, the helpful thing was Brexit. So I've been attacked, and people would be buying the media and listening to them for years. And then when Brexit happened, and there was such a media attack that everyone's far right, that everyone's this, and then COVID, and then people are seeing that the way the media was weaponised against me for years for talking against open borders or talking about Islam, it's then been weaponised against anyone who supported Brexit. It's then been weaponised against anyone who's a conspiracy theorist over COVID, or who's an anti-vaxxer because they don't want an experimental jab. So I think we're shifting massively in the UK as well, hopefully in America, where the distrust in the media is the highest it's ever been.
Yeah, distrust in the media, distrust in the elites, distrust in government, distrust in medical community. I mean, that's amazing. Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, it's horrible.
Children, they're pushing their jabs in their arms, and then covering up all the adverse reactions to it.
Right.
Well, not reporting it.
Yeah.
They just choose when not to report.
Yeah, it's really something. So my twin brother got knocked off of Twitter. His name's Joe. He writes with me at Gateway Pundit. He put up this article from the CDC that was on the official, CDC website, where they said that 6% of the deaths with COVID were from COVID. 94% were deaths with COVID. So there's a big difference between dying from something or dying and you also happen to have it. So they included people who were in motorcycle accidents, and then they throw them in the COVID numbers.
If you've had it in the last 28 days.
Yeah, something like that. It's just, it's shocking when you start looking at this, and then when you start looking at the vaccine, some of the side effects, they're hiding all that from the American people. But people are catching on. A lot of people know people who died or have been hurt from the vaccine.
I think more people know people who have been hospitalised or in trouble from the vaccine than died of COVID.
I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't. Now, I've had friends who died from COVID, which is tragic. Of course, a friend of mine, a good friend, was 80. He had diabetes. He was overweight. And he had Parkinson's. So, he wasn't in the best shape. He did die from the COVID. And, here's the other thing that really, we've written about at Gateway Pundit, but that's just shocking, and that is they didn't push any treatments. You know, whenever Trump, you notice Trump came up with hydroxychloroquine.
They made up they want to inject bleach.
They shut down the talk on that. It's the first time ever that they never gave any advice for people who caught the disease. They didn't give them anything. They just said, wait, my friend who died. He called me, said, Jim, I have COVID. He'd been in a nursing home, locked up. He calls me, says he has COVID. I said, well, Eric, what are they doing for you? You know, they must be giving you something, you know. This is 2021, you know, 2020. You know, the medical community certainly has some drugs they're going to give you. He said, no, they're just going to wait and watch me for a couple of weeks. I'm like, that isn't a treatment plan. And so I believe they killed a lot of people by not giving them any opportunity to even try some of these drugs. I mean, even zinc has some good effects. Even, you know, whatever else is out there. I don't care. They should have been allowed to use it. Instead, they banned these drugs that had been around for 80 years, and all of a sudden they're deadly now, right? Yeah. Hydroxychloroquine is a deadly drug now, when everybody's been using it for, not everybody, but, you know, millions of people have used it for decades.
Because it's business. It's big business.
It's sad. It's scary.
When I look at it, I think they've made their money from wars. It's been war after war. The public mood is not there for war, which they've wanted, which is why they probably got rid of Trump. Right. And now it's Big Pharma.
Yeah.
Now it's Big Pharma. And they are literally across the world. I'm looking at what happened in every country, but I'm looking at the uprisings as well. That's what I focus on. I'm looking at the farmer protests now. That's massive. What's happening with the farmers is massive. To cut nitrogen by 30%, then they're literally confiscating. In Holland, the government want their land. It can be, it's more communism. It is communism.
That's what it seems
You're taking the land off the farmers.
Yeah.
So that you, the state, are in control of the food market.
And I did see from Geert Wilders that they one of the plans was to take the land and then give it to some of the immigrants who were coming into the country.
For refugees.
Yeah, so it's just amazing. Yeah.
Whilst we're on the media, because I had a court case in London, and when I say they don't even have to just lie, because they just don't report. I had a court case where every negative thing that I was on the dock and everything, the media, the whole thing was full of the media. Then when the person against me was on the dock and there was 5 child witnesses giving evidence, literally every single one of them left court. So they didn't have to report it. I said to the judge, have you not seen what's going on here? Where's the media? So all the accusations, which proved my case, every accusation about the other boy calling someone's mum a white, racially assaulting someone's mum, beating another girl, all of these things just not reported to the public at all. All the public get is one side of the story. They don't get the other side, which is why Gateway Pundit, ourselves, and alternative journalism is so important.
I hope there's a resurrection of that here in Great Britain. Sounds like you're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, just it's hard with the censorship.
Yeah,
it's hard with the censorship because you can't even mention my name on Facebook. If you mention my name, you get banned.
Oh, that's stunning. Yeah,
it's a new level. I'm looking. Amazon this week deleted my book.
I wanted to ask you about that because it was doing very well, right?
It was doing well. It got up to number 2 in biographies. It was at number 15. Each one of my books, which would hate. I was thinking, I'm cancelled from everywhere. Yeah, and if my book comes out with no advertising and goes to number 1, I wanted it so much. I thought it's just going to embarrass you lot. It's going to embarrass them. But they cancelled it. They said that it went against their policies. You can buy Mein Kampf. In 20 different languages. You can't buy my book, which just details, all my book does is detail what they've done to silence us and their tactics and their dirty underhand tactics and the way they operate. Whose Media Matters?
Media Matters.
What are they?
So,
I read their comments about yourself.
They have been around for about 20 years. They were started by John Podesta, funded by George Soros, and their main goal is to destroy any conservative media outlet. So they will attack you and smear you and take little snippets and try to get you knocked off the platforms. They have connections with all of the media outlets. They have an open door policy. They have an open door policy with all the tech giants, so they can so they're always constantly attacking you and constantly talking to your advertisers, talking to these platforms why you have this hate website on your platform. So that's what they've done. They destroyed a lot of conservatives in America.
Who funds them?
Well, it was George Soros when they were starting. Now I think it's a collective of leftist groups that help fund them, but it's a decent group. Has been very effective.
They are speaking now. They are. That's them. That's Hope Not Hate. So in the UK, it's Hope Not Hate, which is I've just done a documentary we was talking about earlier, which will expose how they operate and who they are. So Hope Not Hate are the same as Media Matters. They infiltrate. They pay you. It sounds like the FBI just do it over in your country. In our country, you can't entrap people. The police couldn't come in and encourage anything. So we have entrapment laws that prevent that. And the media can't pay, blackmail, or threaten, intimidate, dox. They can't do any of that. So in step this organisation, which sounds like Media Matters, funded originally by George Soros as well. Hope Not Hate were, and they step in and they get people close to you. And I've got the evidence now in this film to destroy them. They pay people tens of thousands of pounds. They get evidence on people and then they blackmail them. They threaten them. They intimidate them. They actually sexually assaulted one of the men. They flew out to Italy and sexually assaulted one of the men. But they are very effective. But in the reason being that their sources are taken as reliable because they're middle class. They're very in with the establishment. They're listened to by every media agency. And I actually, when I confronted him, I said, you create the source, which is what these Media Matters. You create the source, and then you literally work with the media and have them ready to run the lies. And he says, yeah. He's actually that comfortable. And I think they're that comfortable because we're censored. So in the UK, I think at one point, I looked at my reach and it was 69 million people watched my videos in 4 weeks and 172 million people read my tweets. We were winning. Donald Trump was winning, populism was winning, and then they sat and they realised that, and literally they just deleted everyone on our side. So that's why I think there's other alternative media, even Getter, that's the only place I can be found now, really, is Getter, is that important.
Yeah. Yeah, same with us after the 2016 election. In January of 2017, we were the number 4 most influential conservative website getting before the election, right? So immediately after the election, after a Media Matters report, by the way, and after Media Matters said, we're going to work with the tech giants to shut down this hate speech, right? After that, in January, we immediately saw that our traffic from Facebook had gone down to nothing. So they basically, they wiped out several conservative outlets that were very prominent on Facebook, that were spreading a lot of pro-Trump news, and they crushed us, and we've never recaptured our audience that we had. But we do have a couple lawsuits that are actually look promising. The attorney generals in Louisiana and Missouri, where I'm from, Missouri, have a lawsuit against the Biden administration for working with the tech giants to silence conservatives. So we feel like we have a pretty good case, and we'll see, but it's something, and it's gone further than some of these other cases. So, but it's the same thing. They just shut us down. And
those cases, are they heard by a judge or a jury?
This case, well, right now it's the 2 attorney generals. I'm not sure how this works out when it's at that level. Yeah.
Because obviously I've tried a few challenges in the courts in the UK, but remember, Johnny Depp was found guilty in our court. They said he beat his missus 12 times. They actually ruled against one judge, the same court that I was in, that ruled against me. One judge ruled against the police evidence, against Amber Heard's own staff. And luckily, he could prove his name in the United States because he had a jury and the world could watch it. The world was able to see what went on in that case. I just wish they could in here. I have no faith in the corrupt judicial system in the UK.
Oh, here, that's tragic. It's starting to be that way in the U.S., especially when you get into Democrat strongholds like Washington, D.C. You just don't have a chance. That's why they want to bring in Rudy Giuliani and Trump's administration and try them in D.C. because
he won't have a fair trial.
Yeah. There's no Republican who's going to win in that district. So, but that's what they want. So we'll see.
Do you think Trump will stand? Do you think Trump will stand again?
Oh yeah. I think he's going to announce soon. Yeah.
Oh, please.
So, yeah. Yeah. I mean, we need him still. I know that it's just constant with Trump. It's just constant, and they smear the man, and they've tried to destroy him and his family.
That's why I admire him so much, because he had everything. He was already one of the richest men. He had everything, but he stepped into the firing line.
Yeah, he was respected by everybody. Everybody loved Donald Trump. The rappers were all rapping about Donald Trump. Everybody loved him, and then he steps in as a Republican, and all of a sudden they just hate him, and they can't stop talking about him even today. And even the January 6th commission it's all about getting Trump. We know that.
It's all about preventing him standing.
I don't think it's going to work. I think Trump's going to stand again. We actually have commentators on TV today talking about the only way to stop him is if he dies. So here's the talk now. I mean, this is unbelievable, isn't it? I put up a post too, though, to show you the bias and just the complete lies of the media. So this week, there's more video of Hunter Biden being released, right, from his laptop from hell, and there's a video of Hunter, naked with his prostitutes taking the video, and he's naked on a water slide coming down into a pool, cracked out, and it's like so you write this article. It's like okay, media. What does it take for you to start reporting on this? I mean, could there be anything more obvious and in your face than a naked, cracked out man coming down the slide?
The president's son.
Yeah, the president's son.
Big joke.
It doesn't get anything, and it's just amazing because you'll watch Saturday Night Live, a big popular it's an outlet for the left, but it's a comedy show on Saturday night, and they'll do like a skit where they'll have Donald Trump Jr. like supposedly on cocaine. It's like, what are you talking about? There's no reports of that. There's no police reports of that. There's no rumors of that. It's just totally made up. And yet, here in your face, I could show them 200 videos right now of Hunter Biden smoking crack and being with prostitutes and playing footsie and stuff. And it's just completely ignored. So I think the media just, again, when they continue to do this,
I think it benefits.
I really do.
I think it benefits.
Yeah.
Whenever they do that, because everyone's seeing it online, so everyone's then knows they're correct.
Right, exactly.
They know they can't trust them, and then they're searching for who's talking about it.
Yeah,
because they can trust them.
And there's only a few. Yeah. So, anyway.
Well, Jim, it's been a pleasure.
Such an honor to meet you.
Yeah, keep up the work.
God bless.
Thank you. Do you value the content you've just watched? Do you value the work we're doing? Our team needs support. We need your help to continue bringing you this content. Everything costs money. The travel, the security, we need to be safe. We need to make sure our families are safe. If you can support our work, please log on, subscribe at Urban Scoop with a monthly donation so we know it's guaranteed each month so we can progress, get bigger and bigger and bring you better and better documentaries. Thank you.